Hey, food friends, and welcome to the Food Founders Podcast. Whether you're looking to get on your very first store shelf or you're looking to grow your national or even international food brand, this podcast is going to teach you what it really takes to launch, grow, and scale a packaged food brand. Hear the food founder journeys of brands growing in their industry so you can fast track your food business success. I'm your host, Ainsley, and this is the Food Founders Podcast. Hey, food friends, and welcome to this solo episode of the Food Founders Podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about something a little controversial. And I knew it was a little controversial, and I always feel like it's controversial whenever I say it to clients that I'm working with. But I really realized the controversy around what I'm about to say and what this podcast is all about when I co-hosted a Clubhouse meeting all around this topic. So for anyone who is not aware of Clubhouse, Clubhouse is a new social platform that is audio only. You can go on there and join in on conversations with just about everyone who is on there about anything that they're talking about. So I'm on there frequently talking about everything food and bev, of course, and everything building a breakthrough brand, of course. I know you guys wouldn't expect anything else from me. So I was on there the other day and was co-hosting about this topic, which was your brand needs an enemy. And I even feel a little uncomfortable saying that myself because, you guys probably know I'm a pretty bubbly, pretty optimistic person. So to call out your brand needing an enemy sounds a little harsh, but bear with me. There is a lot of great value behind this. Even if it's a little harsh for you right now and you're thinking that you're feeling a little uncomfortable, I promise you having an enemy for your brand is going to help you stand out. So what exactly do I mean when I say that your brand needs to have an enemy? Well, your brand is a solution to something out there. Otherwise, why on earth have you brought it to market? You are solving some sort of problem, some sort of gap that you saw in the market. And if you haven't done that already, if you just decided I have a delicious tasting product, I'm going to bring it to market and I'm not going to look at anything else, I really do encourage you to go back to some of these fundamental pieces and really look at what gap you are solving in the market. Food Brands That Sell does just this. So if you are not a member, I really encourage you to join that while it is open so that you can make sure that you are finding the white space in the market and having your product deliver on that. So assuming that you have seen this white space, your product is a solution to something out there. And that something is the enemy. So if you have a coffee alternative drink, the enemy might be coffee. If you have a home style soup that can compete with grandma's recipes, well, your enemy is grandma's soup recipe. Or it could be canned soup that might not be as good for you. If you are selling vitamins or a better for you product that boosts people's immune system somehow, your enemy is the cold, the flu, whatever it is that people feel if they don't have your product. So really, the enemy is what it is that you are trying to solve for. And I encourage you to look at it as an enemy versus just, I solved this problem, because it makes you look at it differently. It makes you get a little bit of this fire inside to say, I need to help my people against this. I do not want my consumers having to be in the kitchen for 4 hours to make a delicious bowl of soup. I want them to be able to have the convenience of that delicious bowl of soup at their fingertips. And that is what my product does. Very, very different than simply saying, I don't want people to have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. My product allows people to make soup in a jiffy, real quick, done. It allows you to more firmly stand behind what it is that your brand does and reminds consumers through your brand, through your marketing, through your sales, why they need to select you over any other alternative out there. And that alternative could be a competing product. It could be an action. Say, for instance, you have a product that helps people lose weight. Well, the enemy is the weight. That becomes what you are fighting against. When you are really, really clear on that, you can get behind that and help people, rally behind what it is that you are trying to accomplish there. So when you have a very clear enemy, you know what to attack, you know what your consumer is trying to fight off and what they are moving away from when they buy your product. They move away from the pieces that they don't want, whether it be time in the kitchen, food that isn't as good for me, GMOs, sickness, whatever it may be, and away from that heaven, that joy that your product brings them. You bring them freedom. You bring them health. You bring them flavor. You bring them personality. You're bringing them something that they don't have. And this is absolutely true and absolutely necessary for food brands and every single brand out there. And part of being able to do this is knowing exactly what your product solves for and how your brand is different. If you know that your product is different and better than all the others out there, then you can really firmly stake a place in the ground and say, this is the enemy. This is what we're going against. It could be going against mundane lunches, but it's something that your whole organization, that all your consumers, that you can consistently go after over and over and over again. But you really need to know your values, your brand, and your market to be able to consistently do this. If you guys have been following me for a while, you might have even picked up on how I do this in my business. I talk over and over and over again about the importance of brand. Brand first mentality is how I operate. Why? Because this is what the biggest and most important and most loved brands in the world do. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to teach my students and my clients to do as well. So what do? Well, I make an enemy of anything out there that is not touting that, because I know with all of my business and branding experience that this is the correct way to do it if you want to have a lasting brand and a lasting business. So if someone is talking about branding being just designs and they're not doing any of these foundational pieces, I talk about how, no, your visual design, that is the last piece of your brand that comes to life. You need to have a strategy in place first. You need to really understand your brand first before you can bring it to life visually, because it might look pretty, but if it's not delivering on the core piece that it needs to deliver on, then it just looks great. And it's not actually a great brand at all. And it's not going to live the test of time. Or if people are out there just talking about sales, you got to focus on sales for your business. Well, I know that sales is a result of what you do in your business, and how your business connects is with your brand. So your brand needs to come before your sales. Otherwise, you don't even know what the right pricing is. You don't know the right places you're supposed to be sold. And you sure as heck don't know how to convince someone why they should be listing your product versus anyone else. And when you have a clear brand, and when you know the enemy of your brand, you're able to convince wholesale buyers to list your product. You are able to convince consumers to pick up your product. You're able to convince consumers to move away from other opportunities, from other activities. They're the enemy and move towards you. So this comes to life through all businesses, the biggest brands out there that you see, you'll see them do this. So I encourage you to look at the ads that you might be served up from some of the leading brands out there, and see how they do this. And you might get some inspiration for you as well. What's the one I'm thinking of right now? As with like fast cars, you see this. What they're trying to do is they are trying to instill this vroom, this like excitement inside of you. That is making an enemy of the mundane. These people don't want to have a minivan. They don't want to have a mundane car that doesn't give them the charge. They want a fast car that goes fast. And that enemy is the boring drive or the boring parts of the rest of their day-to-day life. But this is the time that they can escape all of that and live on the edge like they really, really want to. So I encourage you to think about the enemy for your brand and think about how you can start to build that enemy into your marketing, into your branding, and into your sales. Now, if you are just starting out, or if you have no idea how to do this, or heck, even if you do know how to do this, but you want support and you want a step-by-step system in terms of not only how to create a lasting brand, but how to bring that brand to market, how to have it connect with consumers and with retailers so that you can sell more and make more money in your food brand and in your food business. I invite you to join me inside Food Brands That Sell. If you're listening to this live, Food Brands That Sell is now open and accepting new members. Food Brands That Sell is going to walk you through my 5-step framework that is going to help you build a brand based on your unique values, help you find the white space in the market for you to own, help you build a brand and not just a product that connects with people's heads, hearts, and wallets, help you build a marketing plan all around that brand and your goals, and help you bring that to market in sales. And we're going to talk about how to make that possible both in wholesale channels and online. So if you want my help helping you build your food brand to make sure that it sells and that you can make the impact and the income that you want to in your business, I invite you to join me inside Food Brands That Sell. It is open for the next few days. If you are listening to this on repeat after it has come out live, you'll be sent to a waiting list for the next time it opens, but it is open for the next few days if you are listening to this. So I want to invite you to go to www.foodbrandsthatsell.com. That's foodbrandsthatsell.com to learn more and to join me and your fellow food founders inside Food Brands That Sell. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation, somewhat controversial conversation about building an enemy for your brand. And if you are on Clubhouse, you can find me and follow me there. I am at Ainsley, and you'll be able to hop in on the various conversations that I'm having there about building a successful food brand and about how to build wealth within the food industry and make sure that you are standing out and making the impact that you really want. That's it for this week, everyone. I will be back next week interviewing another fantastic food founder. I cannot wait to have you join me inside Food Brands That Sell if that is right for you. Again, I invite you to check it out. It's at foodbrandsthatsell.com. I will hear you guys and talk with you guys next week on the Food Founders Podcast.